Hi everyone, I'm Mark, and this is my second video in my health series, The Kick. First of all, a trigger warning. I'm going to talk about mental illness and suicide. If you think that will upset you, then please stop the video now. Also, a reminder that I'm not a health professional, and I have no training or qualifications in mental health. So rather than give you advice, I'm going to talk to you about my experiences and what has helped me. I was first diagnosed with major depressive disorder in 2001 when I was 27. I've had a number of episodes since then, but I'm very happy to say that I'm well right now. During an episode, I would have a number of more intense periods that I'll call crisis moments. These moments might last minutes or hours, but they would feel like they lasted forever and that they would never stop. My options for dealing with these crises are very different from the options I use for the prevention and treatment of my mental health long term. None of them are a substitute for seeing doctors and therapists regularly for me. And for example, I practice meditation for my long-term mental health, but I would never try and meditate during a crisis. Depression is a potentially fatal illness. When my depression was very bad, my thoughts turned to suicide. The deeper my pain, the more attractive suicide seemed as a solution to end my suffering. My mother once said to me, "Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem." And that really sums up for me why it's important that we try and prevent it. There were moments where I had a drive to suicide, but those moments always passed. Various people have helped me with my crisis moments throughout the years, especially my parents, my friends, and my psychologists. I've picked up some ideas from them along the way and also come up with a few myself. I count myself lucky that I've never gotten to the stage where I've planned suicide or attempted suicide. Early on in my depression, my mother did a very caring and clever thing. She asked me to make her a promise. That promise was that if I ever decided to commit suicide, before I did it, I had to talk to her first. I made her that promise. And even when my depression was the worst, when I hated myself and the world around me, I knew I didn't want to break that promise to her. I've since asked other people to make the same promise to me. I also found it reassuring to make a safety plan. I wrote down a numbered set of options, things I could do in a crisis to help myself feel better and to keep safe from suicide. If one didn't work, I could move on to the next one. At the top of the list, I had self-help actions that I knew from past experience helped me to calm myself. So going for a run, splashing cold water on my face, screaming into a pillow, or sleeping. Also near the top of the list, I had the names and phone numbers of friends and family that I could call when I was in serious distress. Before I put them on the list, I went to them and I asked them, "Would you be okay if I called you in mental distress just so that I can be with someone I trust and not be alone with my thoughts?" I got the number of people on that list to about 4 or 5. And I did that so that when I really needed someone, I had a better chance that someone would pick up the phone. At the bottom of the list, I had the free mental health services. I'm in Melbourne, so these were Melbourne specific. They were Lifeline, the CAT team, and the emergency department of my nearest hospital. Lifeline is a 24-hour Australian phone service for people in mental health crisis. I only called them once, but it was great to know that they were there. The CAT team is the Melbourne name for a mental health service that comes out to wherever you are and checks up on you. I never called them. I also never visited the emergency department of my nearest hospital, which was my last option. I found it comforting to have these options listed with their phone numbers and addresses. And I kept these lists on paper and my phone so that they were always handy. I'm going to put some names and details of Australian and New Zealand services below this video. Thanks for watching this video. I know it's a difficult topic. I wish all of you happiness, peace, and good health.